Wat hier nog conocida Aruba, pero na Bonaire também no terreno também gaan rond, correr rond. Então pessoas que toquem sua trajetória. Nós vamos conversar com a AWE, tem o programa Herensia, que nos vai prometer uma mensagem de nos sponsor. Nós vamos começar a tocando subida. Captain Lamour, can you tell me, who is Captain Lamour? Where you was born?
Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, in 1927, April 8th, and I lived there and grew up as a child. I had very good parents. I had also one brother who is gone now, he's dead, and I have two sisters. They're living in another part of Michigan. I left at the early age of 17 and joined the United States Navy. And there I served over almost close to 3 years. I was in the amphibious forces. And I was in the Pacific, the Philippines, Okinawa, and Japan. I had a good education. The training with the Navy was superb. It learned me to be obedient, learned more or less things that I hadn't got at home. You know, they were more professional. But I enjoyed the Navy. I got out of the Navy in 46. I went in 44. And I was a swimmer, professional swimmer.
In the Navy?
Eh?
In the Navy you was...
I was in the amphibious forces, yes.
You participated in wars, combats?
Yes.
Yeah? Where?
In the Pacific, mostly Pacific. And everything was calmed down by the time we got to Okinawa. And I was there for a while. And then we finished up in Japan when they took up the Potsdam Treaty. And then I went back to California. And there I started another life. I was a professional gambler with pool, with cards, and I enjoyed it for quite a while.
Well, can you explain what the life of a professional gambler?
Well, one thing, you gotta win. Because if you don't win...
Maybe the people want to know how to win.
No. My advice to people on gambling is to take pictures of the players. Don't get involved. It's fun for the slot machines and something like that. But when you go into professional gambling like you see it on television, they have a lot of money behind them. You know, they don't go in with a few dollars. And when I started, I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of money in the South Pacific. I gambled, playing cards and so forth. And when I came off the ship, I had a pretty good amount of money. And I went into shooting pool. That was one thing I like to do quite a bit. And the island here knows it, and also Aruba knows it.
It's possible that you, as a professional gambler, can win the casino?
The only way you could win the casino is to be crooked or have an enormous amount of luck, because I've seen people lose hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, think nothing of it because they had millions. But that was Venezuelans. That wasn't Americans. Americans are pretty tight to the budget. But once in a while you get somebody crazy. I used to play a wild game in Aruba called Texas Hold'em. And there I got my reputation as a gambler. But, you know, I had a water sports operation to take care of. I had wonderful men, the Aruban boys that I train in all aquatics, swimming, diving, rescue. And I had the best men in the Caribbean.
But first of all, how did you come in the Caribbean?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I left Miami Beach in the 50s, about 54, 55, and I went to the Bahamas. I had a boat that I was on, and we did treasure diving. We didn't find a lot of treasure, but we had a lot of fun. We worked with the people, helping them on their fishing, so forth. But in the Bahamas...
But did there are any treasures in the Bahamas?
Oh, it's there.
Other people find the treasures?
It's there. Oh, yes, there's many recordings in the Bahamas and Jamaica and in the Cayman Islands. But it's a proposition where you have to put a lot of money in it. You just don't go underwater with a mask and a snorkel. There I find a gold coin. It isn't like that.
You have to do research.
Sometimes, well, you do the research, but sometimes this gold that you're looking for is 20 feet under the ground, under the sea, actually. And then you have to have special machines to move that sand. It's a real hard work.
You know people that has find treasures in the Bahamas or in the Caribbean?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Well, Art McKee was out of Plantation Key, Florida. He was a world-renowned diver, and he found gold, he found silver, and he made a good living. He's deceased now, but I've worked with him off of the Cayman Islands in the 50s, and we were doing a little research for coins and bars and so forth. And we had something to excavate the sand away, a blower. But it took us weeks before we found anything. And what we found didn't pay for the trip itself, because we were out there for 3 months. But I enjoyed it. I got experience out of it. And then I worked with a television team out of the Caymans. He was world-renowned in photography. A Canadian by the name of Dr. George Benjamin. I followed him for quite a while. He was world-renowned in photography. He was in the Cayman, well, he was all through the Caribbean, and I found him there, and I worked with him as a guide. And then I went over with him to Jamaica, and here's a man with a Bolex camera, probably weighs 15 pounds, 60 feet, and I'm right behind him because I was his protection in case of any shark attack and so forth. But a lot of my knowledge was gained in the islands, in the Caribbean, and I was in St. Thomas for a while. But just to see how the island people live, and I was in St. Kitts, St. Bart's, there again, to see how the people live, the livelihood, and I enjoyed myself. You know, it's a strange way that I found Aruba. It's hard to believe. I was living in Jamaica in the early 60s, just after the president got shot, Kennedy. All hell broke loose in Jamaica. I mean, they didn't like Americans. And they sunk my boat, Barford, of course. But I had one other one. I had a glass bottom, and I took it all the way to the end of Port Antonio. And I was there for a while, but I had one little problem. I had a monkey in the United States, and I did shows with this animal, We were very, very close. And what I did to get the monkey in, I smuggled it. I put it to sleep in a baby bunting, and I got all the way through customs when the tail came out. And then all hell broke loose in that airport. I was immediately deported on the next plane out, and that plane went to Curacao. And I wasn't received there too good. They didn't like that monkey. But Aruba loved the monkey. And that's how I found that island of Aruba that I dedicated 40 years of my life.
In Aruba.
Yes, in Aruba. I built the water sports. I trained all those men professionally. So Ramon Sharp was in charge.
At that time, it was in the beginning of...
In the very beginning. I was the one that brought the tourists into Aruba at that time because they all came out of Florida. They were all Jewish clientele, high-class Jewish clientele that I knew from Miami Beach. Well, when they knew where I was in Aruba, they came by the droves.
At that time, which were the hotels, the big hotels in Aruba at the time?
The Aruba Caribbean was the major one. That was the first one. And then you got Holiday Inn, then you had Sheraton, and then they start coming up after. But the most beautiful hotel was Aruba Caribbean Hotel. That was a shame what they did to that hotel, to take it down and rebuild something else that's a monster. But I enjoyed the island very much. I love the people. The island people were very good to me. The ones on the beach were my competition.
But the first, you began with water sports.
Yes.
What kind of activity?
All. So I covered water skiing. I trained diving. We did parasailing at that time. But all the sports that were available, I put to use in Aruba. Mainly water skiing and diving, snorkeling trips and so forth with the tourists. But there again, I have to remark, my man Ramon Sharp was the best of the best.
So Ramon Sharp.
Yes, yes. He was very high up in sports and manager. You couldn't have any better. Diver, why, he learned a lot, and he'll tell you he learned a lot because I was pretty tough on him.
What was the diving all about in Aruba? What kind of diving? Do you have corals?
There's no comparison of the diving in Bonaire as opposed to Aruba, because Aruba, you don't have the land entries as many as you do on this island. And our diving, really, the good spots were the south coast, which was just beautiful in that time, because we didn't have any hurricanes as yet, no storms. So they had droves on the south coast. And the west coast, we had two famous wrecks, the U.S. Pedernales, which was an American tanker, sunk on the east side of the island. They brought it over in pieces, and we dove that. That was 15 to 20, let's say 20 to 25 foot depth. That was where we took a lot of the beginners. And then we had the famous Antilla. That was a German freighter that was scuttled by the captain in the early 40s. I had 2,500 dives on that wreck. And Ramon had, he had quite a few too, because we were going out there every day with experienced divers. Diving then was a little bit different than now because you have all the modern technology. We didn't have that much. We had a few, but we never lost a diver.
No accidents?
No. I can shake my head on that, or let's say knock on wood, but we never lost. Let's put it this way, I never lost a diver in 40 years. So I think that's a pretty good record. Also, I trained and organized the lifeguards in Red Cross training of life-saving technique at the Strand Hotel, which was then one of the first in town. And
You know, Ike Cohen.
Ike Cohen was the top boss there. I don't know if he's alive now or not. He could be. God bless him if he is. He's a wonderful man. And his wife also. We got along excellent. I used to teach there. And that's where I trained the Arubans and Dutch Marines. Had a great time. And let's say that the other thing that my men did, we had a diving operation that came in at the Holiday Inn, Lamont and Schumann, two Jewish boys that wanted to make nothing but money, and that's what they did. And they used to take it out on their backs when I watched them in the shower. But these guys, they operated very, very unsafe. They averaged, I would say, my men would pick up an average of 8 divers a week that they would leave at the wreck, because they would take so many out on the boat they didn't remember how many they had, and they would take off and leave them. And then naturally you have a panic situation when they come up and there's no boat, and my boat was there to retrieve them. So all in all, with the fishermen also, I and my men, we rescued over 100, and I think that's a pretty good record in 6 years. So we were very safety conscious on the water. I had a little 29-foot Jersey sea skiff that I used to take out periodically for the fishermen. And they, like I say, they got along good with me.
So you built up a big enterprise in Aruba.
It wasn't.
How many people
How many had
was employed?
For me, up to 26. And we had a girl. Naturally, she was at the front, the office. And you figure 26 people in a water sports in the 60s was pretty damn big. Because we had glass bottom boats to take care of. We had speed boats to take care of. We had sunfish. We had catfish. And we had all kinds of activity. I had two fishing boats. They were the lures. I had them at the restaurant in town. There alone was 4 men right there. And then the other activities, we did parasailing. I trained him to do parasailing. Ramon was right there, boy. He was right there, Johnny on the spot. And the only problems we had was with the local boys on the beach that would give me a hard time because my boat went out. I had a monkey on my shoulder. I went and talked to the tourists on the beach. The kids like the monkey. They want to go on the boat where the monkey is. And that's the way it went. Well, when they sat there and I went out, they got aggravated. And they would take repercussion. They'd either cut my boat loose or steal my equipment. I had one hell of a hard time there for a long time. It didn't let up. But the Aruban people were beautiful with me. I had no problems inland. I was very well respected on that island.
But then you went out of business? What happened?
Well, I had the water sports, and I had let's say, a homosexual manager. And I didn't get along with him, and he didn't get along with me. So I got out of the water sports, and I took a boat, a small, trimaran, the Bonbini 1. And I bought it from George, who had the Bazzarudi Hotel. And in 1966, your queen, then princess, was married to Prince von Claus. And he and she were on the island together with Prince von Claus also. And we had, Prince Bernhard. We had a situation where she had to be protected when she went out on the water. So I had one police officer and myself. We would supervise anything they did in the water activity. And I knew her, I met her, I was there for 10 days. with the royal family. And I had a great time. They were great water skiers, and she's a great woman. I give the Queen a lot of credit for what she does for her people and her kingdom and her islands, because she keeps them together, and that's what counts. But diving was first nature to me, because I did a lot of diving on the island. I did a lot of teaching on the island. And then one day I happened to find Bonaire.
Aruba is famous for his sharks. It's sharks in the waters of Aruba, in the sea, no?
That's
not true?
Not true. That's not true. No. Sharks. I know a lot about sharks. I could write a book about them. But as far...
Never attacked by a shark?
Yes.
In Aruba?
Yes.
Well,
I had many encounters in the Caribbean. My nickname with Colonel John Craig in Danger's My Business out of California, and Art McKee was Sharky, because wherever I was, it seems that the sharks would come. And naturally, they take pictures. But Aruba on the East Coast, but there's no diving there because it's a rough sea. And also the North Coast, you would maybe see hammerhead, maybe see the blacktip, the reef shark, but no one is being attacked like they make it out. That's not good publicity for any island, especially in this area here in the Antilles. You don't hear of shark attacks in these islands. Very rare. And to have the name that's a shark island, that's not true. I lived there for 40 years, so I know the habitats of those animals.
But you are a diver, you know the sea underwater better than anyone. What are the dangers of under the sea?
Well, the biggest problem with danger is the person himself, because a lot of people take risks by going out in the sea alone, and that's not good. You also can come into a heart attack, you can come into a cramp, and that can take your life. But as far as the underwater creatures, you have a jellyfish that puts out a terrible, terrible sting. You have the stingray that just took the life a few weeks ago of a very famous man. But you rarely hear of this. Actually, a stingray will not bother you in the water. They're just swimming around. But in a situation where they're under the sand and you swim over them, they're going to protect themselves. And that's what happened to this gentleman. But you can also walk in the water and in 2 feet of water, step on one, and he can give you the same problem. But other than those, maybe the lionfish also has a problem, with you if he stings you. A lot of venom. And the Moria eel is a little fellow you don't want to fool around with, especially the green one, because they can give you a severe bite. But as long as you leave everything alone in the sea, you take and breathe your air, and you come out without touching or damaging the coral, and with a buddy, I say you won't have any problems.
You have had any accidents on the sea or in the sea?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yes, I've had accidents, but not in diving. I had an accident in 1996 where I lost my use of my arm and my hand with a speedboat. I rescued 4 tourists, otherwise they would have been gone. And I had a problem for about 5 minutes, and I lost 7.5 quarts of blood. 6.5. And they rushed me to the hospital and they did a emergency operation.
You survived.
Well, I survived, yes. But I'll hold my comments on what they did to me.
But then, Captain Lamour, you came to Bonaire. Tell me about that. How did you came to Bonaire?
Well, I came on a catamaran. First, I came on a trimaran, and I actually worked for Captain Don Stewart as an instructor at Flamingo Beach back in 1963. And we had some great divers then. And I was, let's say, very rewarded to be with them, those people. I was there for a short time, but I found out that Captain Don had the island completely taken care of, sewed up, they use the expression. So that's when I left, and I went back to Aruba in '64 and built my water sports. Yes, I was hired by the general not the general manager, but the president of the organization that built and sent people into the Aruba Caribbean Hotel. That's how I got my job as a water sports manager. That's how that particularly came up. And when I found out that Don had everything here, Captain Don, I immediately left and I went to Aruba. And that's where I find the wonderful people that were very gracious to me.
But then you came to Bonaire a second time.
Yes.
And you are still in Bonaire till now.
I came, in fact, I was here on my honeymoon in the 70s. I came every year, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2001, 2, 3, 4. I've been coming every year to see the people, do some diving, renew acquaintances to see how many people are still on the island. I promote the island as much as I possibly can. In fact, at the present time, I'm volunteering my help at the orphanage that you have here. They have 6 wonderful little boys, and I took them swimming, and in 2 days we took them snorkeling and swimming here at Playa Leche. And I intend to do a lot more for those people because they need help. I want to see that they get a nice Christmas dinner. I want to see them get gifts. And you'll find me coming around to the businesses asking for, a donation, but not money. Not money. Something that they have in their store or their business. Or anytime it's money, it's a check. And, it's protected. So there's no hanky-panky. But I'll be the only one. And that'll be starting sometime about the 15th of December. Yes. And I would really like the people to reach out their hands for these young boys that are at the orphanage, because the girls, they do a marvelous job, but they got a lot of problems. The building is not properly painted. The grounds need help. They had one of their vans that broke down that's over at Polo. I want to find out if it can be repaired because it's tough, when they have one van. But like I say, there's 4 girls there and they do a marvelous job. And I think 1 are volunteers. And the salary is not that great.
But so you are established now in Bonaire?
Yes. I don't have any problems with customs, immigration, or the wonderful police force. Like I say, I don't have any. I never did.
But I remember you lost a boat here in the Bonaire.
Yes. I was staying with my boat at the, let me see what they call that place. It's at the Carl Beach Bar and the Zizek restaurant. Oh, what a place that is. I go there for breakfast and sometimes I go for dinner. They serve the best food on the island as far as fish, you know, the marine life. And you're treated very well there. I like the place very much. I was there, and at this time, there's a funny connection here. I was shooting pool in the morning and playing cards at one of the local tabs about, I would say, 6 blocks away, when one of the gentlemen came in, and he seemed to have a little water on him. So I asked, "You get a problem?" He said, "Not much." He says, "But check your boat." So I went down. In the morning, I imagine it was around 11:30. The sea was flat all around the island. So I didn't see any problem, because there was another captain behind me, and I had 4 anchors, 2 in the bow and 2 in the stern. And they were 50-pounders, so I figured I'm not going to have any problem there. Well, that was a mistake. I went back and I was shooting pool, playing cards. All of a sudden, I hear boom, thunder. So I was told, "Get to your boat." So I ran down to the dock, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The seas were rolling in from the south coast on an average of 10 foot high. And by the time they got here, they were higher. They went all the way across the wall and hit Zizix. So you can imagine the force of those waves.
That was in what year?
And then I think it was 90. Pretty sure it's 90 or 91.
It was a hurricane?
No, it wasn't a hurricane. It was a change of current and tide, what they told me. I don't know the name of it, but the harbor master mentioned the fact that it can cause turmoil in the sea. And it came out of Curacao, and nobody was notified. Nothing. We didn't know it. Boy, when we got hit, 27 boats were sunk, including Bonboni 7.
That was in 1990.
I think it was 1990. The boat came right up on top of the beach. When I got to the dock, there was a fisherman that had knocked unconscious, and he was underwater. I went down, got him breathing. He lost his boat, I lost mine. But when you say sink, you say bashed on the shore. It didn't, really get the full weight of the water. But when it hit the beach, it was just torn to pieces.
But that was.
And then I had a construction team, Juancho Obersi and his son. They were kind enough to take me out and put me on the circle. So that's where I stayed for 3 months. And it was tough losing that boat, because I had just put in a brand new engine, and I had it repaired, everything in fiberglass and painting. It was over $25,000.
But that was the reason that you stayed then in Moria, to live here?
No, that wasn't the reason. I mean, at the time, I wanted to live on the boat. Naturally, I wanted to stay here. But I have one thing that very few people have, being an American. I have a Dutch passport. So it gives me a little leniency for people to be helpful, especially in my profession. It's not easy to get a job. But I got along, and I was on pension, so I didn't have any problems.
But at this moment, you still have a boat?
I have this one, right here. You see it? The twit, it's over here.
Good.
I have a Dutch part.
The Bomini, still the Bomini.
Oh yeah. I live and die with Bonboni. I got a sign on there, let's go sailing, fishing, snorkeling, diving. It's a party boat too.
You are still in the business.
Well, I have a company, Bonbeni Sea Ventures. I'm registered with the Chamber of Commerce. But 2 years now, I haven't had a trip yet. I'm hoping to come out, I would say by the 15th of December, maybe I can get some business.
I've noticed, Captain Lamour, that you love animals. You have a monkey now.
Yeah, I just got
you have a little
him.
goat in the past.
I had a cabrito that I had trained swimming and diving off my boat. It was here, right here. And I have
the little cabrito used to swim
and dive.
And dive.
Yeah, and climb a ladder. I had a big trimaran. It was a 42-footer. And in the beginning, I used to have one dog, Queenie, and King, on each end of a pontoon. And we'd race to get to the shore. So I love animals. I train birds also. I train kini.
Well, how do you train them? You have some ability to do that?
Not really. It's the love of the animal. That's the one thing. And to be able to get your message across to them. Once they are not afraid of you, they'll work for you. Just like that little character in there.
Yeah, that's your monkey now.
That's Peppy.
What's the name?
Peppy. Yeah. Peppy is a capuchin. He's 2 months old. I just got this little character, and it's an animal that's liked by many and hated by few. But as long as you keep it trained, you won't have any problems with it. This one here is non-aggressive. It does not bite. So in a month, I'd say 6 weeks, I'll have it trained where you'll see me walk with it. Maybe before that, on my shoulder.
Okay, then we can make another interview and you can show what Peppy can do.
Well, what I intend to do with this monkey is very, very unusual. I did it in Aruba and it was highly successful. When I train this animal where it can come to people and to children and they have no fear, they will take pictures and most of them will be tourists. And when they take the picture, they'll be giving a card or paper that says what this purpose of this photos are for, to give a donation to the orphanage. And they will give a donation of a minimum of $5. And over a period of a few months, I can accumulate quite a bit of money for this organization. And they desperately need it.
I have heard Captain Lamour that Captain Lamour is a lady killer or was a lady killer. I talked with a lady yesterday and she told me that.
What did she say?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well, you might say I've been around the block. I've had some of the most beautiful women that any man could want. For not my looks, it's just that what I was capable of doing with my body, and I mean not sexually. I did high diving, I did swimming competition, and in the water shows you got to meet people. And in water sports, you got to meet them because they used to come in at the hotel. The airline stewards would come in, the entertainers would come in, the cream of the crop would come in. So naturally, I got to know the most beautiful women around.
Okay,
but I treated them with respect.
Nice talking with you. We will come back when the monkey's trained, you know.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. Captain Art Lamour, estaba consultado a Wedding Party aquí de Herensia.
Cada dina playa wesi pikula di oro. Viva na mi porta, mi po viva rubide. Dale dastimamiento, vitame dastimele. Dale dastimamiento, vitame dastimele.
Den het dos parti ave di Herensia, nostra conversando signora Rosemarie Klein. Una persona hobby interessante sobre esta me mucho quando nasce de um campamento que tem na Bonaire durante a Segunda Guerra Mundial. Bonaire durante a Segunda Guerra Mundial, que estava de 1940 para 1945, é rol hobby importante. Essa aqui por motivo que o governo decidia tempo para trasladar diferentes alemães que estavam na Antilla, seja na bordo de barco, ou que estavam vivendo na Antilla, Aruba, Corsol, trasladaram para Bonaire para internar em campamento. Junto com os alemães aqui, havia também diferentes pessoas que estavam consideradas na época como perigoso para o Estado. Na um campamento de palo, na praia para riba, para ser preso de guerra aqui, detenido de guerra. Essa aqui estava situada atualmente Flamingo Beach Hotel, Divi Hotel, tem seu edifício. Interessante está que nesse período de Segunda Guerra Mundial, diferente muitas nasce também no campamento. Hoje nos programa Herensia, nós sabemos que dia muitas que nasce no acampamento aqui. Se trata de senhora Rosemarie Klein, que está na Bonaire de vacação. Rosemarie Klein, je bent op Bonaire geboren. Wij noemen het zeebad vroeger. Het kampement of kamp waar de Duitsers hier waren opgesloten. Kun je iets vertellen over je familie? Hoe kwam het dat ze hier werden opgesloten? Waar woonden ze daarvoor?
Mijn ouders die woonden met 2 kinderen op Aruba. En toen werden ze op een dag gewoon opgepakt toen de oorlog begon. En hier naar Bonaire gebracht, naar het kamp.
Hoe heette je vader en je moeder?
Mijn vader heette Ludwig, Klein. En mijn moeder heette Clara, Klein.
Wat voor werk deed hij op Aruba?
Hij werkte bij de olieraffinaderijen.
Maar heeft hij nooit verteld hoe hij heeft dit ervaren, dus gewoon opgepakt, naar Bonaire gebracht?
Nee, mijn ouders die spraken helemaal niet over de kampperiode. Dat moet een verschrikkelijke indruk gemaakt hebben. Alleen mijn oudste zus die heeft af en toe wat verteld.
En wat heeft hij zo verteld?
Nou, dat ze ging spelen in het kamp en dan liep ik altijd achter haar aan, want ik was heel klein, we schelen 8 jaar. Dus dan liep ik altijd achter haar aan en dan verraadde ik als ze spelletjes deden. En ze is hier op school geweest. Is op de lagere school, mijn broer en zij zijn hier op school geweest.
De eigendommen van je ouders op Aruba, daarna, na de oorlog, wat is er van geworden?
Nou, die hebben we nooit meer teruggezien. Ik weet niet wat ermee gebeurd is, wat ze ermee gedaan hebben. Maar alles hebben ze dus, ja, ik heb geen idee. Ik weet het niet.
Is dat een eigen huis?
Nee, het was geen eigen huis, het was een huurhuis. Maar ik weet dus niet wat ermee gebeurd is verder. Maar de eigendom, dus wat er in het huis stond, dat hebben ze nooit meer teruggezien.
Dus op dat moment, dus in 1940, hadden ze 1 kind. Dat is 2 kinderen.
Een dochter en een zoon.
En hier ben jij geboren op Bonaire en een andere?
En nog een broer en nog een zus. Wij met z'n 3 zijn we hier op Bonaire geboren. Ik ben er trots op.
In een kamp. Zeg je dat iets?
Nee, dat zegt me helemaal niks, want ik was zo klein. Maar mijn zus heeft wel eens verteld dat ze uit het kamp moest naar school. En dat de militairen met geweren stonden en dat ze doodsbang was. En dat ze af en toe van de zusters wat kregen om mee boter en zo, om mee naar binnen te smokkelen. Maar dan had ze de zenuwen dat ze gepakt zou worden. Want ze hadden verder niks. Dan was een gaarkeuken, heeft ze verteld. En daar kon je eten halen. En kleding en zo kwam uit Duitsland. Wow. En mijn moeder die was heel handig in het met de naaimachine om te gaan. Dus die vermaakte die kleren. En zo hadden wij kleren om aan te trekken.
Heeft je zus nooit verteld hoe het eten of hoe het leven in het kamp was?
Niks. Nee, dat weet ik dus niet. Nee. En helaas is ze vorig jaar overleden, dus ik kan het er ook niet meer vragen.
Is u wel teruggekomen naar Bonaire voordat u overleed?
toen ze 60 jaar oud was, hebben we met z'n allen, alle broers en zussen en de kinderen, hebben we er een reiscadeau gemaakt naar Bonaire. En toen is ze hier alleen geweest en heeft alle bekende plekken en zo opgezocht.
Ik heb gehoord dat er bijna een ongeluk is gebeurd op zee met een van jullie. Bijna dat die...
Oh, dat is een raar verhaal. Mijn zus die paste een beetje op mij. Want ze is
die
8
oudste
jaar
zus.
ouder. Ze is 8 jaar ouder dan ik ben. En die past een beetje op mij. En toen heeft ze me meegenomen. Ik was misschien 6 maanden oud. En ze ging altijd zwemmen en ze kon goed zwemmen. En toen werd ze gegrepen door een golf. En ondersteboven. En toen was ik helemaal blauw en proestte. En toen is ze uit het water gekomen en heeft ze zitten kloppen en doen. Heeft mijn moeder niks gezegd. En de volgende dag heeft ze het pas verteld.
Dat was zo'n incident.
Ja, het was een hele rare ervaring. En een keertje ging mijn broer, die is 7 jaar ouder dan ik ben, die ging een keertje zwemmen. En toen was hij een beetje te ver, want het was maar een bepaalde afstand waar je mocht komen. Toen ging hij zwemmen en toen hebben ze op hem geschoten, want ze dachten dat het een volwassene was die wilde weglopen. En toen hij terugkwam, want hij hoorde die schoten, toen ontdekten ze dat het een kind was.
Wanneer ben je precies geboren, die datum? En heb je die informatie bij de bevolking of bevolkingsregister nagetrokken? Wat kun je daarover vertellen?
Ja, ik ben in 19 augustus 1942 geboren. En mijn zus die is 2 jaar geleden hier geweest. En die heeft toen allerlei dingen opgevraagd en is ze naar het gemeentehuis en heeft daar dus mijn geboorteakte voor mij meegebracht.
Nou, wie waren je bent ook hier gedoopt, neem ik aan.
Ik ben
Katholiek?
hier gedoopt, katholiek gedoopt. En pater Brenneke die heeft mij gedoopt. En zuster Maria Hupner was mijn peettante.
Heb je ze ook ooit gekend of niet later?
Ik heb Maria Hupner een keer op zanderij in Suriname, op het vliegveld. Heb ik haar heel even gezien, ze was op doorreis. Heb ik haar heel even gesproken en ja, verder niets. Maar ze is ondertussen overleden en pater Brenneke ook. Dus.
En pater Brenneke was ook eigenlijk een beetje opgesloten hier op Bonaire door zijn Duitse afkomst. Heb je dat geweten? Of
nee, dat wist ik dus niet. Daar weet ik helemaal niks van. Nee.
Wat is er daarna gebeurd? Dus na die tijd van het kamp met jullie familie?
Nou, wij zijn in eind 46 zijn we naar Suriname vertrokken. Want mijn ouders mochten kiezen of ze naar Duitsland gingen of naar Suriname. Maar mijn ouders zijn in Suriname geboren. Dus toen zijn we teruggegaan naar Suriname. En daar heeft mijn vader werk gevonden. Want hij had natuurlijk niks meer, geen werk, niks. Maar hij heeft daar werk gevonden. En daar hebben we gewoond tot 1971. Toen ben ik alleen naar Nederland gekomen.
Maar je had ook een opa in Suriname.
Ja, die leefde niet meer.
Ja.
Mijn opa was overleden, maar mijn oma, dus zijn vrouw en kinderen, die waren ook geïnterneerd in Suriname, aan de Koppieweg. Ja.
Je bent nu op Bonaire.
Ja.
Eigenlijk voor de tweede keer. Je bent hier geboren en nu op Bonaire. Hoe voel je jezelf op Bonaire?
Nou, als ik heel eerlijk ben, als ik niet 2 kinderen had en kleinkinderen, dan bleef ik hier op Bonaire. Zo goed is het bevallen.
Ja, voel je toch iets dat je...
Ik voel me hier thuis.
Ja?
Ik voel me hier thuis. Ook als ik tegen mensen praat en zo, dat is iets van mezelf. Het klinkt bekend.
Ben je ook op die plek geweest waar nu Divi Flamingo Beach Hotel zit? Om gewoon op die grond te lopen?
Ik ben er nog niet geweest, daar moet ik nog naartoe. Ik ben wel in de kerk geweest en ik heb gekeken waar het ziekenhuis is waar ik geboren ben. En ja, hier rondgelopen en gekeken, maar daar moet ik nog naartoe, naar die plek.
Het is toch een andere kerk hoor. Ze hebben Net na de oorlog hebben ze deze gebouwd op dezelfde plek.
We hebben gezien dat het een andere kerk is. Het is niet de kerk die er stond toen ik hier was. En ook, ik zie ook niks meer terug van de huisjes waar wij gewoond hebben en zo. Dus.
Hoe is het later met je vader en je moeder verlopen? Hebben ze daarna lang geleefd? Tot wanneer?
Nou, mijn vader die heeft gewerkt tot zijn 70ste. En toen is hij naar Nederland vertrokken. En toen naar Duitsland. Want daar woonde ik. Ik heb ook in Duitsland gewoond. En die is 80 jaar geworden. En mijn moeder die is toen bij mijn oudste zus in huis in Rotterdam. En die is 94 geworden. Die is in 1996 overleden.
Daarna hebben ze nooit meer of bijna nooit meer over hun leven hier op Bonaire gepraat.
Nee, daar vertelden ze niks over.
Hebben jullie wel gevraagd?
Ze wilden daar niet over praten. Nee.
Dat was een bittere ervaring voor hen.
Ja, daar wilden ze niet over praten. Daar weet ik dus verder niks van.
Wat vind je zelf van dat gebeuren toen? Dat de Duitsers van Curaçao en Aruba naar Bonaire moesten komen om te worden opgesloten.
Het is eigenlijk een logisch gevolg, want de Duitsers die pakten de Nederlanders en de Joden op. En omgekeerd, het was oorlog. Dus je verwacht niks anders. Maar dit waren dus mensen die helemaal niks verkeerd gedaan hadden. Daarom vind ik dat zo raar. Okay.
Ik heb een foto gezien van jullie kinderen, eigenlijk kinderen van het kamp. Je oudste zus. Heeft ze daarna contact gehad met die andere kinderen na de oorlog of nooit meer?
Ik geloof dat ze een Annelies Klooman, daar had ze het over. Dat ze daar nog contact mee heeft. Maar naar de hand is het ook verwaterd. Want de hele familie van mij is naderhand naar Nederland vertrokken. Ik heb alleen nog een oudste broer in Suriname wonen, dus de rest woont allemaal in Nederland.
Voel je je meer thuis in dit gebied dan in Nederland? Of zit?
Ja, want ik ga volgend jaar ga ik naar Suriname, daar kijken weer. Want ik heb daar vanaf mijn 4e tot mijn 29e gewoond. Dus ga ik in Suriname kijken, bekende plekken opzoeken en zo. Maar die tropen, ik kan niet tegen de kou. Ik vind de kou verschrikkelijk.
Maar er is wel kans dat je ook toch misschien in de toekomst Bonaire komt wonen op je geboorte-eiland. Je zei ja, je hebt kinderen, kleinkinderen, maar toch. Denk je daarover?
Daar heb ik wel over gedacht. En we zijn op bezoek geweest in het tehuis voor verstandelijk gehandicapten. Hier dat schooltje. En daar kwamen we Johan Cruijff tegen. En daar hebben we mee gepraat ook nog. En toen ging mijn hart open. Ik zou zo hier willen werken. Maar ik ben gebonden in Nederland. Ik heb kinderen en kleinkinderen. Dus het is heel moeilijk. Ik zou misschien kunnen proberen om te overwinteren hier. Dus dat ik in de wintermaanden hier ben. Maar dat is allemaal nog onzeker. Dat weet ik nog niet.
Compañero, ay, buenas noches, gozo pasamos. Ay, buenas noches, gozo trumimo.